All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to this deep dive on mastering English conversation. I know a lot of you out there are looking to really boost those skills. And, well, we've got some awesome resources for you.
Yeah?
We're going to be looking at this really in-depth study guide. It's called Mastering English Conversation.
Okay.
And then also this super practical article just packed with tips and exercises. So
Wow.
really a good mix for people who want to learn quickly and have those aha moments. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
totally.
So
I think one thing that
yeah,
both sources really stress is just how crucial conversational English is, especially now.
right,
We live in such a globalized, interconnected world.
yeah,
And it's not just about like textbook grammar, right? It's about
yeah,
connecting with people
yeah.
from, all walks of life, whether that's for work, travel, or even just like personal growth.
Absolutely. And I think it's really interesting. I'd like to even ask our listeners right now,
Yeah.
think about a time when you really wished that you could express yourself better in English.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a specific situation? Like what comes to mind? And
Yeah,
and like what could have made that conversation go more smoothly? Because those are exactly the kind of scenarios that we're going to be helping you tackle today.
absolutely.
So, the Mastering English Conversation Guide actually breaks down communication into 4 core skills:
Okay.
listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Right.
And you might be thinking, well, yeah, no duh.
Of course.
But here's where it gets kind of cool.
Okay.
Um, they talk a lot about the importance of active listening.
Right.
And I think a lot of times people just overlook that.
Mhm.
They think, oh, listening is passive. I just have to sit here
Right, exactly.
and, just wait for my turn to speak. But it's so much more than that.
Yeah,
It's about really engaging with what the other person is saying,
exactly.
making eye contact, maybe asking some clarifying questions
Mhm.
to really make sure you're absorbing their message.
Yeah,
Like, imagine if you were talking to someone
right.
and they were just nodding along, but you could tell that they weren't really paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. You've had those conversations.
All the time.
They're so painful, Brett.
It's awful.
You're just like, hello,
As long
are
as
you with me?
you're like, am I boring you?
Exactly.
And that's the big difference between passive listening and active listening.
Yeah,
And the guide really stresses that.
yeah. It also, it mentions nonverbal communication as well,
That's so important.
which is like body language,
Right.
facial expressions,
Uh-huh.
gestures,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff,
So true.
right? Just a simple smile can make a big difference.
Yes. Like putting someone at ease,
Right.
creating that more welcoming space
Yes.
for the conversation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about active listening. We've talked about those nonverbal cues.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move on to another key part of conversation:
Okay.
building your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that feeling where you just you want to express yourself, but you
Uh-huh.
don't have the right words?
All the time.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's the worst.
Well, our Pace to Text article has some really fantastic advice on that.
Okay.
It actually encourages you to move beyond just memorizing word lists.
Ah.
Instead,
Yeah.
focus on learning vocabulary in context.
Yeah, yeah. Think about it. You're way more likely to remember a word if you encounter it in
Yeah,
a cool story or a movie
absolutely.
or even just like your favorite song, right?
Yes.
Than if it's just sitting there on a list.
I mean, think about how you learned your first language.
Right, exactly.
It wasn't from a dictionary.
Exactly.
It was just from hearing it and using it. And pasted text also gives some really cool techniques for expanding your vocabulary,
Okay, like what?
like using flashcards.
Yeah, the classic.
Yeah, the classics.
They work.
They work. And then also, these spaced repetition apps.
Oh, those are really cool.
Yeah.
Like, have you used Anki?
I have.
Yeah, Anki's great.
It's great.
It basically uses these algorithms to schedule your review sessions
Right,
and make sure that you see the words right before you're about to forget them.
right.
So
Yeah.
it helps to really solidify them in your long-term memory.
Amazing. I mean, there are just so many great apps out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's Anki, you've got Memrise, Duolingo.
So many options.
I really encourage everyone to kind of find the one that works best for them.
Yeah, for sure.
And don't forget about visual aids either.
Oh, yeah, those are great,
Making those picture-based flashcards.
especially if you're a visual learner.
Yeah, or even just like, drawing little pictures next to the word.
Right, exactly.
Anything that helps you kind of create that visual association
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can't talk about English conversation without talking about, you know, the elephant in the room.
Okay, here we go.
Grammar.
The G word.
The G word.
A lot of people get nervous about it, but
Oh my gosh.
honestly, both sources kind of, they tell us not to freak out.
Thank goodness.
Like, you don't need to become a grammar guru overnight.
Okay, good. Because I was getting a little overwhelmed.
Right. It's really about focusing on the basics first.
Okay.
Like, make sure you understand sentence structure, tenses,
Yeah.
the different parts of speech.
Okay.
Right. It's like building a house. You got to have a strong foundation before you can, add all the fancy stuff.
Love that analogy.
Right.
And the good news is there are some awesome tools out there to help you build that strong foundation.
Yeah.
Paste to Text recommends Grammarly.
Oh, Grammarly's great.
It's amazing. It's like having a personal editor, in your pocket.
Right. It's always there to catch those little mistakes.
Always there.
Yeah.
Always judging you. Just
It's very judgmental. I think I would be offended if it were a human.
right.
But as a computer program, it's fine.
Exactly. And, for those of you who are looking for some free resources, the British Council website is
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah, that's a great one.
They have like tons of exercises and explanations and even those interactive quizzes.
I love a good quiz.
Me too. It's like, are you really learning if you're not being quizzed?
Exactly. Exactly. Got to test yourself.
You got to test yourself. But, even with all these tools, I think one of the biggest things that holds people back is
Yeah.
the fear of speaking.
Oh, absolutely.
That feeling of being afraid to make mistakes or sound silly.
Yeah, it's so common. But you know what? Both of our sources, actually, they offer some really practical advice for overcoming that.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they really emphasize practicing in low-stress environments.
Right?
You don't need to jump into some high-pressure conversation right away.
Yeah.
Start by just practicing with a friend or a language partner, or even just talking to yourself in the mirror.
I do that all the time.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's great. You can really,
Encouragement.
no judgment. You can just work things out.
Exactly.
And just kind of give yourself permission to,
yeah.
Make those mistakes and learn from them.
And what I think is so powerful is like visualizing yourself succeeding.
Oh, that's huge.
Like imagine yourself confidently ordering food in English or giving a presentation or having like a casual conversation with a native speaker.
Right.
And that mental picture, it really does boost your confidence in real life. Pasted Text also mentions celebrating small victories,
Oh, that's important.
which I think is so important.
Yeah.
Because, it could be something as simple as like, ordering your coffee in English or having a short conversation with a classmate.
Exactly.
Like, what would your first small victory be? Just something to think about.
Right, right.
Those small achievements can really boost your motivation.
For sure.
And speaking of pushing forward,
Okay.
let's talk about some fun and practical techniques that Pasted Text recommends
Right.
to kind of take your conversational skills to that next level.
Let's do it.
One that really stood out to me was shadowing.
Oh, shadowing's cool.
Yeah.
What is it, for those who haven't heard of it?
Yeah, so basically it's like, you mimic a native speaker's speech patterns, their rhythm, their intonation. It's almost like you're their shadow.
Right.
You're trying to like replicate every sound, and they suggest using podcasts or audiobooks or even just like YouTube videos for practice.
Absolutely. I mean, choose something that interests you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Something that you'll actually enjoy listening to.
And you don't have to start with like a whole, novel or anything.
Right.
Just start with like short phrases or sentences.
Yeah, keep it manageable.
And then as you get more comfortable, you can gradually, increase the length.
For sure.
Increase the complexity.
It's like a workout for your pronunciation.
Yeah, exactly. And then Pasted Text also talks about role playing.
Oh, role-playing's fun.
Yeah, it's
like acting, but for language learning.
right.
Okay.
Exactly. And just imagine yourself in those everyday scenarios like, ordering food, asking for directions, maybe giving a presentation.
Right.
And think about specific situations that you might encounter in your daily life or even, at work.
For sure.
Like, for example, let's say you're at a cafe.
Okay.
You could practice ordering a coffee.
Right.
You could say something like, excuse me, could I get a latte with oat milk, please?
Perfect.
See? And you can even like write out a little script if that
Yeah,
helps.
absolutely. Whatever helps you feel more prepared.
Exactly. It's like a dress rehearsal
Right,
for
exactly.
those real life conversations.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, paste to text actually provides like sample phrases and
Oh, that's
dialogues
helpful.
you can use in different situations.
Yeah, so you don't have to start from scratch.
You don't feel lost for words.
Right, exactly.
And, it really does feel like having a personal English conversation coach
Hmm.
right there in your pocket.
Yeah. And remember, guys, the key is to keep practicing.
Yes,
How,
practice makes perfect.
the more you use these techniques,
Hmm.
the more confident and fluent you'll become.
Absolutely. So we've been talking about some really effective techniques like shattering and role playing.
Hmm.
But, let's not forget about how technology can really supercharge your English conversation journey.
Right.
I love a good app recommendation.
Me too.
And luckily, both of our sources have a ton of them.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already mentioned space repetition apps for vocabulary,
Right.
but there's a whole world of language learning apps out there.
Oh, yeah.
Think Duolingo, Babbel,
Whoa.
Rosetta Stone.
Oh, yeah.
It's like having a mini language school right on your phone.
I've heard great things about those.
Yeah, they're really good.
What makes them so effective?
Well, they offer these structured lessons
Okay.
that cover all the essential elements.
Uh-huh.
So you've got your vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation,
Right.
and even some cultural insights.
Cool.
A lot of them also have interactive speaking exercises.
Oh, cool.
So you can practice your conversation skills on the go.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like it's like gamifying the learning process,
Right.
which makes it more engaging and fun.
Yeah, because it's so much easier to stick with something if you're enjoying it.
Exactly.
But what if you're, looking for something a bit more in-depth?
Yeah, if you want to go deeper,
Yeah.
there's always online courses and webinars.
Oh, true.
Platforms like Coursera, Udemy, EDX,
Mm,
they offer courses for all levels,
okay.
from beginner to advanced,
Nice.
and they cover a huge range of topics.
It's amazing. Like, you can basically have access to a global classroom, right?
Yeah.
From your living room.
From your couch,
From your couch.
in your pajamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Um, what are some of the advantages of taking these online courses?
Well, one of the biggest ones is that they're often taught by, really experienced instructors.
Oh, okay.
So you get that expert guidance,
Mhm.
the structured learning materials,
Right.
and a lot of times you get those interactive elements too,
Yeah.
like live sessions and online communities where you can connect
Exactly.
with other learners.
So it's like you get the best of both worlds. You get the structured learning,
Yeah.
but you also get that social component.
Exactly. Exactly.
And speaking of social,
Yes.
we can't forget about language exchange platforms
Oh, those are great.
like Tandem, Hello Talk, Conversation Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
They connect you with native English speakers from all over the world.
It's such a cool way to immerse yourself in authentic English conversation
Yeah.
and learn from native speakers.
And it's a win-win, right?
Absolutely.
You get to practice your English,
Yeah.
and then you can help your language partner learn your native language.
Exactly. It's a great cultural exchange too.
I remember when I was learning Spanish, I
Uh-huh.
used to find language partners online,
Nice.
and we would chat for hours.
Yeah.
It really helped my fluency and confidence.
It's way more fun than staring at a textbook.
Way more fun.
Right.
While we're talking about, real life learning,
Yeah.
let's not forget about social media and online forums.
Oh, of course.
Like Reddit, Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many dedicated language forums out there.
Yeah. Tons.
It's incredible.
There's such great resources for English learners.
Yeah. Because you can find communities of people
Hmm.
who are on the same journey as you.
Right.
Ask questions, engage in discussions,
Yeah.
learn from different perspectives.
It's amazing how connected we are these days.
Yes.
Like, you can literally have access to this global network of English learners and experts
Right.
right at your fingertips.
Yeah. And, let's not forget about all the amazing resources on podcasts and YouTube.
Oh, so true.
I mean, there are so many talented creators out there who
Yeah.
are just passionate about helping people learn English.
Totally.
Like BBC Learning English, English with Lucy, Speak English with Vanessa.
Yeah, great channels.
They have engaging lessons, pronunciation tips, insights into English culture.
It's like having your own personal English tutors
Rock.
right in your earbuds.
I love listening to podcasts when I'm commuting or working out.
Same here.
It's a great way to, make the most of that time
Yeah.
and just squeeze in some extra learning.
Multitasking at its best.
Exactly. And with, all the advancements in artificial intelligence, we're seeing even more innovative tools
Well.
like virtual tutors and conversation simulators,
Oh, yeah.
like ELSA speak.
Yeah, ELSA is great.
And then there are those, interactive chat bots. They can give you real-time feedback on your pronunciation, your grammar, your vocabulary.
It's really cool how, technology is transforming the language learning landscape.
It is. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But, every learner faces challenges along the way.
Of course, it's part of the process.
And pasted text does a really good job of addressing some of the most common hurdles.
Okay.
One that I think resonates with a lot of learners is the fear of making mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in this idea of
Yeah.
speaking perfectly.
Yeah.
But honestly, everyone makes mistakes.
Right.
Even native speakers.
Right.
The key is to embrace those mistakes as learning opportunities.
I remember when I first started traveling and trying to speak Spanish, I was so nervous about making mistakes.
Yeah.
But then I realized, people were generally really patient and understanding.
Right.
And the more I spoke, the more comfortable I became.
Exactly. That's the key. The more you speak, the more you learn, the more you improve.
Yeah.
So don't let that fear hold you back.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Yeah, get creative.
Yeah.
Join conversation clubs, find language exchange partners, or even just, like we said, chat with yourself in the mirror.
Right.
It all helps.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to create those opportunities for yourself.
Sure.
Another challenge that a lot of people face is encountering unfamiliar vocabulary or those idiomatic expressions. Like, I've definitely been there countless times.
Oh, all the time.
It can be pretty frustrating.
It can be, yeah.
What's your advice for dealing with that?
Well, don't get discouraged.
Okay.
One of the best ways to expand your vocabulary and understanding of those idioms is to immerse yourself in authentic English content.
Right.
So watch movies, listen to music, read books,
Yeah.
and, over time, those phrases will start to make more sense.
Yeah. It's all about building context
Exactly.
and exposure.
The more you immerse yourself, the more natural it will become.
But let's be real, there are days when we'd rather just,
Oh, yeah.
binge watch our favorite show
Of course.
than study.
Who doesn't?
Motivation can be a real struggle.
It can be, yeah.
Any tips for staying motivated on this language learning journey?
Well, pasted text has some good ones.
Okay.
One of the biggest things is setting realistic goals.
Right.
Break down your learning into smaller, more manageable chunks
Okay.
instead of trying to tackle everything at once.
Yeah, that's less overwhelming.
Right.
What about those days when you're just not feeling it?
Listen, it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up about it.
Okay.
Remember, language learning is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right?
Be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress,
Yeah.
and most importantly, find ways to make it fun.
That's so important.
Right. If you're not enjoying the process,
Yeah.
you're less likely to stick with it.
So true. We need
Yeah.
to be patient with ourselves and focus on the joy of learning.
Exactly.
I think we've covered so much ground today.
We have.
From, the importance of active listening, leveraging technology,
Yeah.
overcoming common challenges, staying motivated.
It's been a journey.
It really has. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into mastering English conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And, we've explored a lot of techniques, resources, but before we wrap up, I want to highlight something that the Mastering English Conversation Guide really emphasized.
Okay.
And
You're talking about cultural awareness.
yeah, cultural awareness.
Yeah.
It's not just about mastering the grammar and vocabulary. It's also about understanding how English is actually used in different cultures.
Because, what might be considered polite or appropriate in one culture
Right.
could be totally different in another.
Exactly. It's like learning a secret code
Yeah.
that kind of unlocks deeper understanding
Well,
and
it's true.
connection.
The guide even mentions how, simple things like greetings or humor
Right.
or even body language
Right.
can vary so much across cultures.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like a thumbs up
Right.
might be a positive gesture in one place
Yeah.
and totally offensive in another.
That's crazy.
Right.
So it's like as you as you progress on your English learning journey,
Yeah,
it's so important to pay attention to those nuances,
for sure.
to those cultural differences.
It really makes you realize that, learning a language is so much more
Yeah,
than just words and grammar.
yeah.
It's like a window into
Lovely.
different cultures and perspectives.
And it kind of brings us back to that question we asked earlier.
Mhm.
Where do you see conversational English fitting into your life?
Yeah,
Like, as you become more comfortable with the language,
Yeah.
imagine the possibilities.
right.
Connecting with people from all over the world,
Yeah.
sharing ideas, experiences,
Mm.
building those meaningful relationships.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is. It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
And, both sources really stress that mastering English conversation,
Yeah.
it's a journey, not a race. There are going to be times when you feel frustrated
Oh, yeah.
or discouraged,
Mhm.
but it's so important to remember why you started in the first place.
Yeah, keep that vision in mind.
Yeah.
Visualize yourself achieving those goals.
Exactly.
Whether it's, confidently giving a presentation,
Yeah.
traveling the world,
Or just having a casual conversation with a new friend.
whatever it is for you,
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
And remember, every expert was once a beginner.
So true.
So be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Celebrate your progress.
And most importantly, have fun.
Yeah. Learning a language should be enjoyable.
For sure.
So embrace the journey, the ups and downs,
yeah,
the triumphs and the challenges.
it's all part of it.
It's all part of it.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone in this.
Right.
There's a whole community of English learners out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
Ask for help.
Support each other.
Support each other.
We're all in this together.
We've covered so much in this deep dive. I really hope that you're feeling inspired and,
Yeah.
and equipped to take your English conversation skills to that next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've explored the power of active listening,
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary building techniques, confidence boosters,
Yeah.
that incredible world of technology,
Right.
and the importance of cultural awareness.
So much good stuff.
You guys have all the tools you need.
You really do. And to wrap things up,
Okay.
I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Right.
Think back to all those communication styles, those cultural nuances that we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
What are you curious to learn about
Yeah.
as your conversational skills grow?
What doors do you envision English opening for you?
Keep that curiosity alive.
Yeah.
And your English conversation skills will flourish.
We're excited for you guys.
We are.
Can't wait to see what you achieve.
That's it for our deep dive into mastering English conversation. We hope you found these insights valuable and feel empowered to embark on your own language learning adventure.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy learning.